coming up in this video for you guys. Have a look at this. We've got some chunky plugs for you coming up in this video, so don't go anywhere, guys. You're gonna like this one. This is actually my patient, and we can see we've got quite a humid canal. Let's see what's going on in here. So we're going to go down now. This is the standard size ulnar tube. A lovely bit of oiling's happened on this canal. You can see the surface is looking really soft there of this wax plug. So we're just going to break this down. Look how stretchy that is. Look at all that coming away. There's a lot of dead skin is kind of concertinaed up right at the entrance to the canal. So we're going to go in, back in now with the suction and bunching as much of that skin into the suction tube as I can, just to reduce the chance of us clarinetting. But it's being so well behaved so far. As soon as I got a grip on that outside edge, the next piece drew forwards. But this, you can see, is a very deep plug. It all hinged on how this comes away from the canal wall. There we go. That's coming away really well. We can see the whole plug moving. I'm being really cautious here. Nice slow progress with this plug. You know, ideally we don't want it shearing too much. There we go. Let's get rid of that bit. We've drawn the next section down. Let's see if we can get a good grip on this. And we'll see if we can get this section out of the canal. So we're nearly there. Lovely. Out that bit comes. And then we'll take a look beyond. Let's get this next section. It's on its way. There we go. Out that bit comes as well. It's coming down the canal. Now this might, as it gets a little bit more room, as it gets to the entrance of the canal, sometimes it breaks apart. Nope. Well, that was the plug I showed you at the beginning, guys. There you go. So if we take a look beyond that now, we've just got a little tiny patch just on the eardrum there. You can actually see a little, if you look to the top right of the eardrum when we go back in, if you can see it, you'll see another circular patch there. Now that's usually an indication that there's a retraction pocket there. Could be an indication of a previous perf, but that came away really well there. Let's take a look at this one. Now this is a big plug. This is right, literally right at the entrance to the canal. So let's get a good grip. Is this going to be really well behaved and come away as one piece? Oh, I'm not so sure. There we go. Front section starting to peel. Let's see if we can get to the section. Oh, nearly. Let's get to the section beyond. Sorry guys, I'm being really congested the last couple of mornings. I'm struggling a little bit because I'm congested again today. And it's on its way now. Let's see if we can get this peeled off that canal wall. Oh, it's nearly there. Oh, it's proving a little bit more difficult. We're getting that lift, we're getting the pull, but what we're not getting is a real kind of good movement to the eardrum. We're just getting little bits breaking away from the canal wall. Oh, I really want to see this whole back section move now. Did, but only the top part of it came away. That's okay though, because it creates gaps. So we might be able to get in now and get this last little section free. There we go. Now that's what I wanted to see. The whole plug starts to move, and that's ideally what you want to see coming away. There we go. Another chunky little plug, that one. We can't have a lot left in here, can we? Oof, right, okay. What have we got back here? Oh, we've got mushy, I think. So sometimes this happens if you've got a little bit of it, if there's a tiny gap in that plug between the earwax plug and the canal wall, what will happen is any water, you know, from baths and showers and things like that will get through that gap and it'll drop behind the plug. And what happens then is you end up with this sort of quite mushy type of wax right at the back end, so right at the deepest most portion of the ear canal. So we're having to switch down now to the fine end, and what I'm doing is trying to tidy as much of this as I possibly can. There we go. Let's get these little bits off. I'm working, you can see, just above the canal wall, but I can see there's this deeper section which I'm just taking little bits off, and I was really hoping that deeper section would lift as one hard piece, but unfortunately because it's gone that little tiny bit mushier, it's just sitting there and it's particularly sticky. So not an easy place to take the wax from, especially when you can see I'm just checking over the top there. Patient was hearing a lot better at this point, just because there's nothing now blocking that canal up. So a little bit of oil's gone in now. I was really hoping we could get a nice peel. Look at that. There we go. Just a peel down into that recess. but it didn't really happen. It's very brittle. So I'm just taking the excess oil just off the surface of that little ridge before we drop down to the eardrum. Just taking some of the excess out, a little bit of skin there, so we're just going to get rid of that as well. Give this a bit of a peel. Now I can see that slightly thicker layer there to the right, so let's take a look at that. Now we're right on the bony portion of the ear canal here. This is a super duper sensitive part of the ear. I don't really want to touch the canal wall if I can help it, because it will feel quite uncomfortable for the patient. There we go, just working into those little tiny gaps. So at this point, not only am I working on what I can see, I'm listening for what the suction machine is doing as well, to give me an indication of whether I've got a good grip or some on that wax. There we go, let's see how this is going to peel. Is it going to peel away? You can see it's just very, very thin. Yeah, difficult one, that one. So there we go, we can see the eardrum. So my advice to that patient now is, rather than try and scrape that off the bony portion of the canal, is to actually go away and use some oil for that one. So we have 7/8 of an inch, 2.5 centimeters. Nice quick one from me now as well, this one, guys. So basically what we had here, this lovely lady came through and she was experiencing some hearing issues and wanted a hearing test to be done. Now we have got some wax in there. We can't quite see the base of the canal, so we're going to get rid of this wax now. Patient assumed that their hearing loss was down to having a little bit of wax in there. You can't always assume with these particular types of problems. So especially when you can see a nice big gap at the top, it's usually an indication the sound is able to get through. So we're just going to use the curette here. There we go. The reason I've gone in with the curette rather than suction is because we're going to be testing this patient. So if you're exposed to a lot of noise, within sort of a few hours of having a hearing test, and sometimes you can get something called a temporary threshold shift, which means that your hearing will appear worse than it actually is just for a couple of hours after being exposed to sound, or exposed to noise. So I thought, if I'm going to be testing, what I'd rather do is use the curette here. Just get this out, it's a completely quiet procedure, that way then we know it's not going to affect the hearing test at all. Eardrum's looking lovely. 1/2 inch, just over 1 centimetre on that one as well. And the patient did actually have a noise-induced hearing loss, so it was definitely worth using those quieter techniques to get rid of that wax to get accurate test results. So I want to tail his patients again on this one, guys, and see how he gets from this really blocked canal to this lovely clean one today. So what he's got here, this actually looks like a large flap of skin right at the entrance to the canal. There's a bit of a gap at the bottom, can't quite see through, so I don't know whether this goes a bit further in. But we need to get rid of this skin now, just get this patient hearing a little bit better. So he's gone straight in now with a standard size ulnar tube, got a good, that's a solid grip there on the outside edge. Looks like the skin has actually started to harden a little bit as well, so it almost goes a bit like leather. And when that's happened, it's really difficult sometimes to get a good solid grip with the ulnar tube. You can see he's got so far, but what happens is you stretch the skin until it reaches its limit and then it just holds on. So a lot of the time you'll go straight in then with a forceps just to help out to get this out. Better grip, stronger grip, and we can get a little bit more of a pull to it. There we go, it's on its way. Wow, that was a good chunk of skin, wasn't it? But looking nice and healthy beyond, that's really, really good. So just a little, oh, this is the other ear canal. We've got a tiny little bit on the other ear canal. So we're just going to go in and get rid of this. This is also a flap of skin that's curled around over the top. So you can see it's skin. We can see those ripples to the right-hand side there. That's how you know this is skin. So we're just going to pull this away. There we go. Oh, is he going to get the peel that goes all the way along? I don't know if he is. He's looking for the peel. He wants the whole thing to peel away. I can see what he's doing. That bottom layer though, it just goes in a bit too far. If that bottom layer started to arc up, I would say he's almost guaranteed to get that peel, but because it's not arcing up, it's not. So I think he's going to aim a little bit higher. There you go, a little bit of a downward movement now. So he's trying to loosen that next layer of skin down off the top of the canal wall. Can he get that away? Not quite. So he's aiming just a little bit higher again, but I think that skin flap where it's attached to the bottom right hand side, excuse me, sorry guys, is just holding on to that canal wall. It doesn't want to come away effectively. There we go. Just need a little bit of extra pull with the forceps and out that came. There we go, eardrum looking lovely. So we've got 2 centimeters, just under 3/4 of an inch of skin there for Taylor Green. Watch Taylor remove this massive plug of wax from this. That is huge, like a cigar. So what we've got here is this kind of very well-oiled piece of wax here. I can see right at the entrance to the canal. So he's got the standard size Zollner tube in here. Let's give this a little bit of a lift. There we go, out that's starting to move. Oh, it's coming, it's got all the right signs, it's moving. A little bit of a wiggle just to help it around the bend. So we've got to negotiate that, what they call the first bend, so as you're looking at it from the outside edge. Woof, that was a big chunky plug there. And looking nice and healthy beyond, my goodness me. We'll have to tell Taylor Green to slow down when he's taking the plugs out. It's too quick, we can't see what's going on. And then we're just going to lift at the bottom here. Out, that's starting to go as well. Not quite as big on that side. They're all just collecting around. Oh no, okay. I spoke too soon. I thought it was just all collecting around the outside edge, but it's not. It's going much, much further in. A lot of hair in there as well, which is sort of binding this plug together. There we go. That's got to be all of it now, I think. Yeah, there we go. So eardrum looking nice and healthy beyond there. And he's removed 2.5 centimeters, 1 inch worth of earwax there. Well guys, if you do enjoy the videos, don't forget you can always like, heart, share, follow and subscribe for us. If you thoroughly enjoy the videos, you can also consider becoming members of the channel. That way then you get to see even more videos every single week. But as always guys, for the time being, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears and take care of one another. And I'll see you again soon. Bye everybody.